it the hard way.
Now, the last thing McClane wants is to be a hero, but he doesn't have a choice.
Damn right, he doesn't have a choice. This is D-Labs, and I'm here to review Die Hard! Here we go. Now, I don't only consider Die Hard to be one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time, I consider it to be one of the best action movies of all time. This movie's fucking epic. It's really good. Bruce Willis, only starring in a few movies at the time, had a lot to prove, and he knocked this one right out of the park as John McClane. Bruce Willis is so likable in this movie, it spawned a bunch of good sequels and a whole bunch of shitty ones. I'm sure you all already know the story. A bunch of terrorists try to take over the Nakatomi Tower, and Bruce Willis and John McClane fucks them up with his skills, cutting down one terrorist at a time with comedic flair and great one-liners. It's interesting seeing John McClane basically talk to himself because it's almost like he has no inner monologue. So everything he thinks, he says. But every good guy needs a bad guy, and Hans Gruber is the perfect bad guy. He's probably one of the greatest villains of all time. Played by the late Alan Rickman, rest in peace. He also has a bit part in Die Hard 3 as a flashback scene from Die Hard 1, but I'll review that later on. Alan Rickman's character of a smart, charming bad guy was kind of the first time we ever seen that type of villain. And let's be honest, man, Alan Rickman fucking owned that shit. I can't think of a single fucking person that can play that character that sweet. Gary Busey? Fuck no. Now, all the action scenes are very gritty and realistic. That's probably why people like this movie so much. The main hero, McClane, is actually taking on damage throughout the movie instead of just a little scratch on the head, like he's a real person in this movie. By the end of the film, the tower's blown to shit, and McClane looks like he went through the 9 circles of hell. He's fucked up. And then there's your supporting cast, which is pretty much all the police down on the street below. And they're basically there to look stupid and be a comedy relief. That's it. Maybe a speck of moral help, but other than that, they're just to look stupid. And then you got your soundtrack throughout, which isn't memorable, but it does its job. You know, it's a normal soundtrack. Other than the rap Santa song at the beginning and the Christmas song at the end, it's really kind of forgettable. So honestly, I'd give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's almost like it's almost a 10. It's close. And I wanted a second opinion on this, so I asked my good buddy Psycho Mantis what he thought. So here's Psycho Mantis. Please take it away, Psycho. Yeah.
Thanks for the introduction there, Mr. Tomasi. Guys, Psycho Mantis with a review on Die Hard, or should I say the Christmas classic, Die Hard, and what makes it a classic. It could be the fact that we have a young Bruce Willis in his prime, has a full head of hair, dropping one-liners with comedic fashion. The man could have been a stand-up, he's that good at it, and is an all-encompassing action hero. The type of guy that would have Arnold Schwarzenegger chomping at the bit just to be as good as him. At the opposite end of that spectrum, we then have Alan Rickman, the late Alan Rickman, God rest his soul, playing Hans Gruber. Whoever cast him should have been given a medal because he's not the type of character that you would have cast in a terrorist role, but he plays it perfectly and is outstanding in this movie. For anyone that has seen it, I'm sure they would agree to that. What we have then, story-wise, is we have young John McClane. He's a maverick cop, does things his own way, gets on everyone else's nerves because of the way that he does things, but has a heart of gold and always just wants to help out, and that's the reason why he's become a cop. What happens from then on is he gets invited by a birthday party by his estranged wife, and it's at the top of a skyscraper, no less, for no reason other than why not, and they're keeping 6 million in bonds up there. I don't know why they would do that, but that's their choice. And then we would have our would-be villain Hans Gruber coming in because he wants that 6 million, so he takes everyone hostage. And he also has to decipher a code to get that 6 million in bonds. This gives our hero, John McClane, enough time that he needs to take out the villains one by one. And he's also helped on the radio by a fat black guy that everyone that's seen the movie seems to endear themselves to and really, really cares about him. That gives him enough time then to take everyone out and save the day. He's also backed by the New York Police Department, but they're not much help at all. They're basically all just standing holding their fucking dicks and singing the Kumbaya because they're not doing anything to help him. It was the 80s. In the 80s, we did have the greatest action movies of all time, like Terminator and things like that. We also had bad haircuts. We also had terrible clothes, hammy acting, terrible dialogue, so cheesy it could be a natural dip. Girls that by that standard, back in them days, were considered beautiful. You wouldn't have kicked them out of bed for shitting themselves. By today's standard, they look like skanky hoes. You would kick them out of bed just for talking to you, because you wouldn't want to have a conversation with them. Guys, this is a brilliant movie. One of the classics, and it's been enjoyed by millions with good reason. Bruce Willis was at his peak back then and is outstanding in this movie and has been in every movie since then. And he's reason enough just to watch it. And Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman's another reason to give it a try, because he is brilliant at his part as well. It's an outstanding movie, guys. I would give it 2 thumbs up. Times that by 4, add another 1. And for the mathematicians out of there, I'm going to mark this out of 20 to add another 10. I would also like to say I was glad Wikineer done a collab with my good friend Dylan, because I love both of them as YouTubers. I think they're both top class. And he marked his scores with a Christmas fashion, so I'll give my film a partridge in a pear tree as well. Guys, I'm glad you enjoyed the review. Hopefully you did. Thank you for inviting me to collab along with you, Dylan.
No problem.
One of my favourite YouTubers. I think you're a top class guy. Peace out, guys, and take it easy.
And that's Psycho Mantis, everybody. Thank you, Psycho, for coming in and doing this review. I really appreciate it. If you look in the description and in the comments, you will see a link to his channel. He does awesome game reviews. You got to check him out. He's a really cool YouTuber. I'd like to thank also Wikineer. Thank you again, Wikineer, for being on my channel and doing the Lethal Weapon review. That was my last video, if you guys can check it out. It's actually the first box that popped up there. If you just push that box, you can check out that Lethal Weapon review. That's a little feature that you can see on certain devices. Thank you again for stopping by, everybody. You know, a thumbs up, a comment below, subscribe, whatever you want to do, guys. Thank you very much. Ciao, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yay! Yay! Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.